Engine has just arrived from Texas Speed. Wow, typical engine swap things, right? Bada bing, bada boom, throw that bitch back on. We're gonna cut some shit there and hit it with a hammer.
You look what we did.
You were taking this for 2 hours, Gary.
I saw something that didn't fit. It was completely so I figured I'd insert myself.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hoonigan Project Cars. I'm Zach, and you're tuning into my two-door OBS Chevy Tahoe build. Now, just now tuning in, let's get you up to speed. So far, got the truck in. Told you the intention. Basically, we need a real fast truck to do no prep drag racing. Here's how we're gonna build it. 4-wheel drive, 8 cylinders, some sort of forced induction or power adder, and a whole lot of balls.
Heart of America!
Up until this point, we got the truck in, tore it down, you installed the Gearstar Transmissions 4L85E with the transfer case. This is a Gearstar Pro 4L85E level 4 backed up by a transfer case. This is a very simple GM NP243 transfer case. When you get one of these level 4 packages, they come with like 300M billet shafts. This is obviously a 4L85E, so it's got a 5-pinion planetary in the rear, upgraded clutch packs, upgraded bands, upgraded valve body. As I said, all the other Gearstar stuff that we have has not blown up. So now it's party time. Pulled some drivetrain off of my other 2-door Tahoe, slapped it in here, and yeah, this is where we are. So now we're finally to the point where I get to tell you what is gonna power this thing. So, are you ready? Here it goes. This is a Texas Speed Ford Godzilla motor. I know what you're thinking. What are you doing Ford swapping a Chevy?
It's just wrong. It's unnecessary.
Here's the deal. Everybody has done an LS swap. I've done a couple of them. It's tried, it's true. It works out. I wanted to try something different. And you know what? This platform is not too far of a departure from an LS or LT. It's just bigger and quite robust. So you know what? We're gonna give it a shot. And I tell you what, if Ford disappoints, we're never going back. But we're gonna give it a shot. Anyway, check it out. Now, this is not a stock Godzilla engine. This bad boy has been gone through and upgraded with all sorts of goodies from Texas Speed. Now, this is not gonna be the way the engine sits. So the engine as you see it here now, there's gonna be a few things different. One, this intake manifold, not gonna be on it. Throttle body, not gonna be on it. Injectors, fuel rails, definitely have to use something different because we're gonna need a lot more fuel. Also, this front drive system, an oil pan, cooler, all this stuff is changing out. We've got a really sick setup from Indy Power Products. Actually, Jim, the owner of that company, is gonna actually come out and hang for a bit. We're gonna install it, and you know what? He's gonna drop some knowledge because dude's super smart.
Knowledge.
When you have a car king collection like I do, one of the biggest problems is keeping all of your cars running. All right, so this thing is sat for 3 weeks, and I know it's got a little bit of a battery drain. What are the chances it's actually gonna start? Nope. Normally, inevitably, when my cars don't start, I depend on this, the XP20. Instead, putting in an anti-gravity battery. Why is that special? Look how light it is. But the thing that I like is the restart. And what that means is that when the battery gets down to a low enough voltage that it won't start the car, it shuts itself off. Then you just come and push that button. And if your battery is inside the car under the hood, you don't want to pop the hood, you can do it remotely. And the best part is, they come in OEM sizes, but without all that heavy OEM weight. Voila. Now, with the press of a button, I can start my car again.
Anyway, more on that later. So here's the rundown on this motor. First and foremost, let's start with the short block. These things are crazy strong from the factory, and they come with a forged crank. So it does have a stock crank, but these stock cranks are good to about 1,800 horsepower. Pretty nice units. The weak link in these Godzilla motors seems to be the connecting rods and the pistons. Everybody I've talked to, it seems that they can't handle much more than 800 horsepower before they start disintegrating. So Texas Speed has upgraded the connecting rods and the pistons, and we've managed to maintain the oil squirters in the block too, so that should be nice. It is still the same displacement, 7.3 liters, 445 cubic inches. Whole rotating assembly has been balanced. Obviously, you need to do that. All of the valvetrain has been upgraded. Starting with this Texas Speed Stage 2 turbo camshaft. Now, this is specifically designed for boost. It's gonna have a turbo, okay? Tell you what, I can't keep the secret any longer. We already kept so much secrets from you. You don't need that. It's gonna have a big ass turbo on it. A huge one. But anyway, Texas Speed Stage 2 turbo cam. Now, you want the specs on that? I'll give them to you. We put them up right here. It's a 233, 243 split duration cam. We got 641 lift on both intake and exhaust with a 113 lobe separation angle and 109 ICL. That should chop. It should sound pretty choppy. What's important is we're making power and we need this thing to spin up fast, right? Because we want to party, we want to get out of the whole hard. We've got upgraded lifters, chromoly push rods, all that stuff available through Texas Speed. So the cylinder heads have been worked over. They've been ported, obviously. They've upgraded the valve springs. We got pack valve springs in there, upgraded the retainers. Apparently, that should be good for the kind of power we want to make. Now, here's what kind of power we need to make. At least 1,000 at all 4 tires. I don't know what that makes out in math, but it's probably a lot. Probably close to 1,400, you know, calculating drivetrain loss. But that's about what we need to get this thing into the 9s at full weight, and it's gonna be a heavy bitch. I got a 14 bolt in the rear that picked up a couple 100 pounds. That 4L85E, pretty damn heavy. Hell, this motor is not light. Now, this is an iron block. I mean, it's heavy. These motors weigh 540 pounds. Definitely not light though. Damn near 200 pounds heavier than an all aluminum LS engine. So yeah, we gotta fight that, but you know, it is what it is. Now, this is new territory for me and a lot of us here, so we're gonna have to be figuring out a ton of stuff. Luckily, we've got some really smart people coming in to help out with this project and give some advice. So I'm gonna bring you along with me. You're gonna see everything that happens on this, the failures, the successes, any of that. We're gonna start by trying to get this thing into this truck. All right, we got the front end off the truck. It's pretty simple, actually. This is OBS trucks, way easier than square body. So if you want to pull it off, you just get all the bolts in the fender wells. There's way more bolts in the fender well than there is anywhere else. Now, we're gonna take and clean up some of the rest of this, get a nice working space, and then put the engine in, bolt it to the bell housing so we can kind of stabilize all this. And I'm gonna actually throw a trans mount in there too, because there's not one in there. It's just sitting across this bar that Jameson built. Then Jameson's gonna show you how the hell you do this, right?
Yeah.
Sick. Wow, typical engine swap things, right? I guess this is bigger than an LS.
Just a little bit.
Just a hair. But I mean, look, honestly, I think part of the problem is these standoffs that we're using. But I mean, come down with it just a hair, just a squidge. There you go. Okay, so yeah, now it's like sitting in there. Okay, well look, the good news is we can lift the trans up, and honestly, it's the thing that we're using to hoist the engine is just hitting the firewall. Still, we're at a dangerously tight squeeze there, and that's where the front diff's gotta go too, so like that's, yeah, fuck. Well, luckily, again, that oil pan's gonna definitely save the day, but that's crazy. This is a huge engine bay.
Tall ass motor.
Yeah.
It's tall height wise, and then like the depth where it melts.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're gonna do some finagling here and see if we can figure this out. I think we're just check the trans up a little bit. See if we mess around. Well, Brian, welcome.
Hi, how you doing? I walked over, I saw something that didn't fit. It was completely so I figured I'd insert myself. That's how I got a kid. Anyway, so you are 20, let's just say 21 and a half inches is your distance from here to this, you're hitting here. So what we're trying to do is figure out if we can push that back far enough to fit this bad boy, because this thing's kind of long. There's no other adapter, right? This just fits right up. Yeah. That's it. So it's 21 and a half. So look, so if we went 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, we clear. Boom. 3 inches, push them on the back.
Yeah, easy.
All right, my job's done here. Jameson, get it done.
right, so pull these out. Ugh. No idea if any of those parts are necessary, but it's getting to that hour of the night, you know what I mean? All right, let's get this thing back. We're gonna put the front diff in just so we can make sure that this thing is at least where it should be, and you know, we're not running into more problems. So, where I last left off here, a couple days ago. So trying to get this into this, it's a lot tighter of a fit than I would have expected. So we're gonna have to figure some things out. So already, we've done a little bit of cutting. Originally didn't have the diff in, so we threw that back in. You know, did some cutting here, but we're basically gonna have to cut more off of these anyway, just for clearance sake. That trans is gonna have to come forward and up at least, because right now, if it's down that far, it would have to be so far back in order to clear this front diff. Even if we did come up, you know, but there's not much left room. So I would not like to cut the firewall. So we're gonna try a few things to see if we don't have to. Now, here's the thing. This whole front kit, this water pump and now everything, it's gonna come off anyway, and this pan is gonna be changed out, which you're gonna see all this on a later episode. For the time being, since we gotta make motor mounts, we gotta make sure that this stuff fits, I'm gonna pull the stock pan off, and I'm going to see if we can just kind of fit the Indy Power Products oil pan onto the stock block, at least just kind of give us a rough estimate of where everything's gonna land. And we're gonna go from there. All right, got the stock pan and the stock pump off. Kind of see up under here. Ooh, buddy. See some of the hardware in there. Anyway, so yeah, this little gear comes down, drives this rod. This is the pump. Whole pump setup. So this is actually, you know, all cast, pretty heavy, and apparently this thing can handle pretty good horsepower straight from the factory. But I gotta say, I pulled apart, I pulled out some of the stuff from Indy Power, like just the pan and then this sandwich plate and windage tray. Dude, this stuff is really, really nice. Okay, we got good news here. So with the Indy Power Products oil pan, it looks like this thing gets deep enough to clear all this. I'm gonna clearance these a little bit more so that these aren't hitting everything, but definitely this right here was still kicking in a little bit. So we'll clearance all this and then take this tab down a little bit more. And honestly, I think this can go in. I mean, this the trans can come out and up just a bit, and I think we'll be sitting in tall cotton.
What does that even mean?
So now I gotta clean up here, gotta head home, and actually gotta move some other stuff over to the employee bay, because finally I have my own bay in the employee bay. Now we can have this where this is gonna be built for the rest of its life, and then I can also work on my other stuff. So we'll do a little time lapse of this all happening, then we'll get back to work. Okay, so we're having a little problem with this thing getting all twisted up because we can't use the forward anchoring hooks because this side sticks back further. I don't know if you can even see it from there, but this actually has less clearance on this side. I bashed it in with a hammer a little bit. So we're gonna pull the intake off because really not using it anyway. So it doesn't need to be here and getting in our way. So we're gonna pull this intake off, try again, and hopefully it's not, you know, becoming all wonky.
You look what we did.
What you did?
We put this goddamn
You were taking a shit for 2 hours, Gary.
I saw those Crocs in the stall. I was like, who mixes tie-dye and camo? That's right. And then I got to the stall in between and I was like, oh, god damn.
That was that Chipotle, boss.
Oh, yeah, I could tell.
Oh, that is a tight squeeze.
Yeah,
That's so
that-
good. But you know what? Hey, he cleared.
What you doing, Jameson?
Just marking
Where we gotta be bashing.
Yeah, where we got a hammer.
How close is that top? Like, can you put a bolt?
No, we only got like an inch. You might be able to get a bolt through there, but definitely mark that. Definitely mark that for.
So here's the deal. Found that the motor can fit. It's just gonna be really tight, and it's running into the diff right here, and like right here, we gotta do some clearancing, but all in all, we gotta cut that, but all in all, we're gonna be good. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna pull off the pan, we're gonna cut it. Jameson's gonna weld a plate onto it. Bada bing, bada boom, throw that bitch back on. We're gonna cut some shit there and hit it with a hammer, and we're gonna see if it fits. Looks good though.
Yeah, we spray it with brake cleaner, break up all the oil, holding all the dust. It should be cool.
Nice. This is why I let you do it, because look how clean that is. Man, I would have f***ed this whole thing up. I don't like the fact that coolant's starting to come out. I think I forgot. I should check the inside. Yeah, it's, you know, this whole thing's got to come out anyway, but. Oh, by the way, you don't know nothing about these kids.
Oh my gosh.
See, this is the good old days when you can light your smokes. Car provided you that. All right. So we have lowered the engine in for a final test fit here, and look at that. We got, I mean, I probably need to bottom shop it. It clears the diff, which is good, and it actually allows it to sit more where it's supposed to be, because originally we had this thing so far back that we were gonna have to make some crazy ass mount setup, right? But now, because we can bring it forward more, the mounts damn near line up perfectly with the original one. So this is gonna work out. We can use the original pads. We can move the trans forward, and actually we'll be able to access the bolts without doing some ridiculous cutting of the firewall, so that's good. But I think we're good to go. So, hell yeah, Jameson, we accomplished things. Gary, you did a great job today. Thanks, bro.
I stayed around. I didn't shit yet just because I wanted to see you get your shit in.
What a guy.
Hell yeah. New day here, and we've got some help. My man Sean, you may remember him. What up, Sean? So you may remember Sean from a few things. We did a build breakdown on your right-hand drive C10. You also built the X-Pipe for Boomhauer when the police kindly asked me to make it quieter for a bit. So today, Sean's here. He's gonna be helping out a little bit with this project. So he's gonna help build some motor mounts. We're gonna get this thing set in. Maybe we gotta do a cross member, I don't know. But today, we're doing motor mounts. So you good to go?
Ready, wait.
Okay, let's go. Let's go under and just kind of double check our work here to make sure that we have no clearance issues, because that is gonna be real big. So right now, you can see how tight it is between everything here, but at least we cut that corner off so that's not hitting. So once this motor comes up a little bit, it's gonna be much nicer. All right, so right now, engine's kind of set where we want. We're gonna kind of tweak it a little bit. It's gonna move slightly left, but we took the fenders off just so we can have better access. So what are the next, that's a hammer. What are the next steps here?
Cut out some plate on the plas table for these mounts to go onto the chassis, and then weld them onto the engine, modify the trans cross member, and pretty much do them burnouts in about 2 hours.
Oh, sick, perfect. We're gonna be done. This is great. Love this. Oh, my man. That's a good feeling.
Holy shit, it's in there.
It is.
I never doubted you.
Well,
except for that time I doubted you.
I mean, look, it really was,
It had nothing to do with you,
yeah.
let's be honest. This guy's just
all Sean. Thanks, bud. I mean, it actually fits pretty well in there.
You know how well it fits? I was saying. I'm pretty sure. Cylinder 4, right here. Your suspension, right here. Mm-hmm. Pretty much a mid-engine truck.
Yes.
You're a mid-engine truck.
It's a race truck at this point.
It's a supercar.
Full-blown
Super truck.
Sick.
Yeah, full-blown race truck.
But man, like, well, now this is good. We know that the physical parts fit where they're supposed to.
The clearance on the pan is great.
Yeah, it worked out, man. I mean, look, we're clear on both sides, and like this, the part we were really worried about, the webbing. I mean, it, you know, it's you
looks
can
great.
you can actually see past it, so that's good.
I'll be honest, it didn't look like it was gonna fit the first time we lighted it up.
Absolutely
Come
not.
back to that scary night.
Yeah.
Zach was not smiling like this. Zach was really unhappy.
Oh yeah.
He was
Yeah,
really
one of those
unhappy.
moments where you question.
But
everything.
the oil pan made a huge difference because the stock pan is what, like 5.5 inches deeper than that or something?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
I
she
mean,
said.
this oil pan made a lot of difference, and then cutting the corner off of it. We couldn't have made it fit without it.
So please tell me after you've done all this, now you're gonna pull the engine out, you're gonna pressure wash those rails, and you're gonna paint them.
First of all, you can paint over this with wrinkle black.
Oh, God.
No, I'm just kidding. No, the engine's got to come out again because in 2 days, Jim from Indie Power Products is coming, and we're gonna use all of this stuff, and then we're gonna install his oiling system and all that.
All right, you have a whole new accessory line and everything that goes on there.
Yeah. So it's new oil pump, water pump, whole front runner. It's sick. It's all built in. It looks.
Is it like a
dope.
smaller package too?
It is a smaller package, and then we get to lose this and got like an ATI damper. So basically, it's going to come to where this pulley is at like the furthest out of anything. So
Sick. Well,
that's-
congrats. You have a soon-to-be working truck, unlike the truck that sits behind you.
As to the H-hand coming to weld some shit in Zach's truck, better not f it up.
Some man shit.
It's a little pencil shaped, but it works in the end.